Welcome to our last morning session of Digital Learning Day in Chesterfield County. We've got Althea here, and she's going to be talking about why digital citizenship is so important. Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. How are you? I'm Althea Hudson, tech integrator here at CCPS for Swift Creek Middle and Robius Middle. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about digital citizenship. But before I do, I want to do a quick screen share here so that you all can take a look at what I'm looking at. And if you could go ahead and open up a tab and hop on this bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/DLD_citizen. It is case sensitive, so you need to make sure you do lowercase. You're going to get that upside down, dead, puffy floater fish. This will give you the sandbox of resources that I have for you all to use today. If you're on Twitter, I'd love for you to follow me. I'm at Althea Despina. Yes, that's my middle name, and yes, it's Greek, thanks to my parents. It would also be great if you follow the conversation at official DLD Day or DL Day for Digital Learning Day, and then the EdTech Hub has a Twitter handle as well that you could follow. It's EdTech CCPS. So make sure you tag us and hashtag and follow and see some of the amazing things or share some of the amazing things that you all are doing. That would be great. I love to see what teachers are doing. So welcome. Today we're going to talk a little bit about digital citizenship and how that impacts you when you are doing research with your students, because we all have to research for our classes at one time or another, whether we're activating prior knowledge or doing like a big research project, introducing new concepts, or just having our students do some kind of student-driven learning. The problem is that students and sometimes even teachers have not been taught like how to have appropriate norms when you're using technology and how to use it responsibly. And because of that, people are misusing or abusing the technology, and a lot of people are starting to get in trouble for it now. There are lawyers that are kind of like ambulance chasers, and they're out there looking to see if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So better to err on the side of caution and learn how to cite your sources and do responsible research. So why should our kids cite their sources? We all know this, of course, but they don't necessarily know it. Number one, it's the law. Number two, it preserves academic integrity, gives credit to the originator. It does lend credibility to the research, which I think kids sometimes struggle with because they think if it's somebody else's idea, then it looks like they're not having their own original idea. But then it also provides a way for your viewer to see the original sources. So the thing that students really struggle with is where to find reliable sources, copyright do's and don'ts, and then plagiarism itself. So the big thing I really want you all to consider before or as you're getting ready to do research is to go through some of these concepts with your kids before you have them do the research, so that you don't have to go back and have them start over or kind of backpedal a little bit and fix the things that they've already done. So if you teach them what your standards of accountability are and then hold them accountable ahead of time, you're going to meet with better success. At least that's what I found in my own classroom before I became a tech integrator just a year and a half ago. And I did teach 7th and 8th grade language arts. So we had to do researching. Okay, so I've got some resources for you, which all of these, if you're a Chesterfield County teacher, all of these are on your dashboard. If you're viewing this outside of the county, I've put direct links here for you so that you can see what we're looking at. But as a CCPS teacher, I'm going to really quickly bounce into my dashboard. And the first thing that I'm going to show you is in your backpack. And by the way, in case you don't know that if you want to be able to view this video at the same time you're clicking through, if you take the tab that you're wanting to, like the video tab, if you take it and left click with your mouse and drag it down, it will pop it up in a separate window where you can hit the little minimize restore down button for both of your windows. And if you take one and click with your mouse, left click and hold and drag it over to one side until it becomes blue, you can let it go and take the other screen and do the same thing but the opposite direction. You have a side-by-side where you can watch my video on one side and follow along on the other, which I thought was great feedback from my own librarian, Diana Garbera at Swift Creek Middle. So thank you, Diana, for that feedback. I appreciate it, helping my teachers with these sessions. So anyways, back into your dashboard, if you're following along, the first resource is going to be in the backpack. And this is Common Sense Media. So I'm doing my Clever login right now. And if I scroll down, I've got this free resource right here that the county has provided. Your students should have access to this too. It's just Common Sense Media. Again, for those of you who are watching this outside the county, just click on this link here and you'll see exactly what we're going to see. Where you're going to go in this to get these lessons to help your students so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. If you go into the For Educators section tab up here at the top, Digital Citizenship is over here on the left. And if you go down to Scope and Sequence, it has already set up for you by grade level and by unit of study. If you scroll down just a little bit more, you can filter by topic. So for example, information literacy, if I click on that, this is going to be mostly sites for copyright, plagiarism, and responsible research. So for kindergartners, responsible research is for you because necessarily research, but they do need to start learning what websites are appropriate for gathering content and what websites aren't. But if you bump this up to like high school, you're going to run into a bunch of different other topics that you can choose from. Right here, another filter that you can use specifically for copyright and crediting is this copyright and credit one. And if you scroll up, you can see these different lessons. And the cool thing about this is if you click on it, it gives you a video and the lesson to do with your kids. So it even gives you like the lesson plan so that you know what you're getting into with your students before you actually get started. So you don't actually have to know the content in order to share the content with them. So I thought this is a very valuable resource so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The second source that we're going to take a look at, and I'm going to close this Clever because we don't need that sign in. The second thing we're going to look at is our CCPS LibGuides page, and you can certainly use this link right here, but again, it's in our dashboard. And right on dashboard, you've got your My CCPS library. And if you click on the CCPS LibGuides, you will see what Lori Donovan and her staff of librarians around the county have put together for us as resources. And these are very valuable resources. I personally think as a former English teacher, I website quite often with my kids. So you can see just across the top the different tabs, citing sources. It even tells kids how to do it in MLA style or APA style. The county's expectation is for us to do it in MLA, unless I guess that's not what you want to do in your classroom, but that's up to you, not my choice. You've got copyright, Creative Commons, how to evaluate websites. This is one that students really struggle with. They think that Wikipedia is a reliable source, but they don't realize that anybody who has a Wikipedia account can go in and change the content and make it about anything that they want. Fair use is a really good one here. Public domain is important. And then you've got a couple of resources for research itself. Your librarians have worked tirelessly to put together lessons that will help you. And if you talk to your librarians about this, they can block off some time for you to bring in your classes, and they will make a lesson that content, but also fits what it is you're trying to get across in your lesson as well. So your content as well. I would routinely go in and have my kids, before we read a novel that was set during the Great Depression, to activate prior knowledge, I would have them go in with the librarians, and they had a great lesson together, put together a research lesson for them, where they learned how to search appropriately on vetted websites, how to cite their sources, where to look for images. The librarians went through all of that, but then they also gave them guided research, because they're 7th and 8th graders, on places they could go in the online database. So talk to librarians. They are a wealth of knowledge. The third and final thing that you have at your disposal is Nearpod. And for those of you, again, outside the county, here's the direct link. But for those of you who are in it, teachers, you've got Word. Have this on their dashboard because they cannot create a Nearpod. The county has not paid a licensing fee for them to create them, so they can just consume it, which is great for you because it's basically online modules. And the ones that I pulled for you are for specifically digital citizenship when it comes to researching copyright and plagiarism. So you can see up here at the top are the different grade levels and then the different content that goes with them. If you're searching for this the first time, if you go into your little Explore button, because mine, I saved it to my library, but if you go into Explore and you type in digital citizenship, the package will populate for you so you can see what it looks like, and it actually happens to be right here. So I'm going to click on it, and you'll see that we have different packages of lessons. So like kindergarten has 18 lessons, the middle grades have 18 lessons, the high school has 24 lessons on digital citizenship. It's free for CCPS, which is why it says free, because the county felt like it was important enough for you as a teacher to have access to these lessons, which is wonderful. If you are outside of the county, you can purchase a license and then download these items to your library. Which is where you will see them. And I'm going to pop in really quickly so that you can see what one looks like, because I know I'm getting short on time here. I've got about 3 minutes left. But what you could do, you've got two options as a teacher. You can deliver the lesson live, or you can make it student-paced so it's differentiated. Just pop into a quick student-paced lesson. You would get a join code as a student like you would with a Kahoot or an Edmodo. And then I can simply share my lesson with my students. They type in the join code on Nearpod and they can join my lesson. I can also quickly share it to Google Classroom, which is awesome, or grab the link and put it into like Hopara if I'm a secondary teacher, or an agenda to share it out with my kids. So when kids join, they can then see the lesson, which tells you as a teacher how to prep, and then gives a driving question as well as objectives. It allows you and your students to go through some content and then have an interactive question where you can, this one's a kindergarten one, where they can answer questions. You as the teacher then get these answers where you can then see like what your kids think, whether or not they're getting the content, what you might need to review, or what you can skip over because they know already, so that you can kind of use the data to drive your instruction, which is very valuable. If you're interested in building one of these yourself, you also have the option to do that, which is wonderful. And in order to create one, you just have to go to the create section and start adding slides. I don't need this. You do have the option to add content, websites, or activities, which include open-ended questions. You can poll your students, give them a quiz, have them do an interactive drawing, or collaborate. There are lots of other things that you can do, but I am short on time, so what I would recommend you do is talk to your technology integrator if you're interested in learning more about Nearpod. I really hope that these resources today are something that you can use to help your students prepare for researching, responsible research, copyright and plagiarism before they do activities in your room. You all have a great day.
Thanks so much, Althea. It
Thank
was great
you.
stuff on digital citizenship and great places to point teachers and other educators to help educate our students and best practices online. So thanks a bunch.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.